Twin Blades 1 for 1, the record almost unblemished. McIntyre, let's see if he maybe has a game number 3 to push it over that 50% win rate. But we find ourselves game number 5. I don't know if anybody expected us to be here. Team Freedom came out strong in game number 1. Things started to get wild after we saw a game number 2 victory for the qualifier for Heroes Hearth. And since then, it's been fireworks, Dread.
It has been. A lot of flashy picks, a lot of weird and unique compositions coming out here from Heroes Hearth Esports. But, J-How, after today's game so far here, before we get into game number 5, the one thing that I find the most surprising statement we can say is Butcher has a greater win rate than Syndragosa in North America.
Butcher has a 100% win rate. I think that is probably a much cooler way to put that, in my mind.
Yeah, maybe. Battlefield of Eternity is going to be our final battleground to decide who, in fact, is going to win this series. Selected by Heroes Hearth Esports. Tronda's got to be a concern. Karazim probably going to rise in value in this type of circumstance. Are we going to see a white main ban? That's another thing I'm looking at.
Genji's been OP, won the last few. But more importantly, I mentioned the first pick, second pick. Every team that's picked Battleground has won in this series. So second pick has won every single game. Heroes Hearth with the Battleground choice here will be in that second pick position.
No solo Abathur support for Heroes Hearth. Though we did get Varian with Twin Blades in the last 2 games, we'll say Battlefield of Eternity, he can go for that 1-4 split pretty effective, but out of the 2 wild heroes of the last game, I'd almost rather the Syndra more than that in this type of situation.
Well, seeing this Diablo, Team Freedom still, as we've already mentioned, has a lot to play for. Winning this series helps their chance of being there. I was going to say, Sergeant Hammer has to be considered the ban. This does allow Hanzo through, and they will snap lock that, but you're basically giving up one or the other. In Heroes Hearth, they'll have the possibility of picking up Genji to maybe try and counter that. But Hanzo on this battleground, just really, really strong.
Provides so much when it comes to the poking around that middle fight. The race on the Immortal itself, very few heroes can answer to it. Some of the best, Artanis, maybe Vala, which if Heroes Hearth is going to do something a little out of the norm, an Artanis pick on Battlefield would be probably a very standard go-to. I mean, have you ever seen a super swap into a Tronda Lunar Flare?
No, but have you seen these notes? Oh, yeah. It's messy. It would be fun. Amateur opponent, pretty strong. Uther's going to be the pickup, which leads me to believe Team Freedom is going to take a page out of Heroes Hearth's book and go into that double support. Garrosh, the frontline control. As the Samuro ban comes out, Heroes Hearth might know a few things, but it does say that Uther has been a Yoda pick in a lot of situations for Team Freedom, allowing that of, boy, I almost forgot his name with collusion back there. It's weird because when they abbreviate names, you try, and it's just Kazian doesn't make sense. Karazim, but Karazim plus Uther is a lot of melee.
It is a lot of melee.
So it seems like maybe something more backline.
Yeah. Find out here after Heroes Hearth commit their next 2 picks. Get ourselves the Arthas and then the Greymane still. Man, this composition looks, other than the Genji, very, very old. And Arthas, Greymane, Tronda on Battlefield. It's just funny, you know, bringing back heroes like that, how, and now Uther making his way more so into the meta as well in response to the Tronda, but now we'll figure it out here for Team Freedom. I'd like to see them get somebody a little bit more hyper carry oriented for that Divine Shield. Hanzo's not too shabby, especially on BOE, but it's going to be Thrall and Blaze, leaving Hanzo probably as the best D-Shield target there. Thrall is one of my least favorite melee assassins, the Divine Shield, purely on his individual single target damage output. Comes from Sundering / Earthquake, right? Sundering, not interruptible, so most of the time he just gets that off anyways. I'm not worried about ensuring that. And then it is through his Q damage, right? The lightning chain lightning threat. So because you're worried about his Wind Fury to get up in there and get that damage output, and the odds of him having that off cooldown while you get the Divine Shield usually is a little bit lower.
Well, we know a Nubrak to be a very strong Uther counter. It's hard to get D-Shield off if, well, he's in the cocoon. Then you look at available targets to take away that cocoon. Cocoon is based on the amount of times it takes damage, not the amount of damage it takes. There's a lot of slow damage that comes out outside of a Wind Fury. Blaze is the only other one where you have to oil backwards and hit the flames just to try and get that. So it will be fun to watch when we see the Anub'arak dive in with a Genji and a Greymane, a Tyrande following up on that.
But I want to highlight that there's still an opportunity here with the composition that HeroesHearth has to get kind of wild with it, right? They have a very, with the Anub'arak and the Beetle spawn and the Greymane pressure that they're going to have there, they still have the opportunity to Syndra Ghost to disable everything as it moves on. True Shot Aura pickup for everybody involved, the AoE damage output. Like, I don't think that they have to, but based on some of the mild deviation we've got, when I look at this composition, that is the game plan in mind here from them, and I really like it. Again, it's a little bit older, but I like the approach.
I'm the Tyrande picking the extra range because I think my Anub'arak is going to outdive me. Wait, don't go in so far. Either way, we've got Team Freedom here on the left. Lutano, he'll be on that Hanzo. Collusion on the Uther. Nasmus on Blaze. Yoda on Thrall. And Zugrug on that front line. He'll be on the Garrosh.
And for HeroesHearth Esports here in game number 5, we are going to have BBJ on the Tyrande. Ishbu on the Anub'arak. McIntyre infects the Arthas this time. Homicidal will in fact be playing the Greymane. And last up, Crowin for the team looking for resets on Genji.
The Uther, a lot hinges on that support now with the Anub'arak in play. The escalation of fights can be fast and furious. Team Freedom with a Hanzo scatter arrow build, you have far more capabilities of taking a patient, poke-oriented approach. So there is some play for Team Freedom to avoid a lot of this.
Start off here for HeroesHearth with a 3-2 split, kind of. Genji looking for the back door. HeroesHearth already on the response, though, or excuse me, Freedom, as Uther was the man making his way back to make sure he gets that interrupt. Ishbu trying to get the peel and protection. We see the jet propulsion. Swift Strike should be up in a few seconds, but it's a ways out. There it is. Ooh. Barely close out. He had to immediately use the Swift Strike because of the Uther rotation. That's what made that jet propulsion flank and rotation actually a reasonable kill opportunity onto the Genji, when normally it's a pretty safe play.
Dreadnought, I want to pick your brain here because one of the things that we've seen, Genji can initiate, but one of the things that we have seen in the past, when we looked at the Genji Tracer meta, was a matter of if there's the Uther on the other side and you've got a Garrosh, it's stun, taunt, blow up the Genji. Is there the burden of most of the initiations have to come from the Anub'arak, which they most likely will, but does it just put it firmly in his favor?
I think more often than not, that's going to be a fair statement to say when looking at this composition. It also comes down to whether or not it's Army versus Syndra, because Syndra is a pretty good range initiator, right? If it's Army, it's very left to right. But when you run Arthas in a double warrior with Army, Crowin getting flipped over, Hammer Justice out. I don't know if that interrupted the Swift Strike, but it doesn't matter. Damage there. And they get first blood here, out for Team Freedom. What I was going to say is when you run him in a double warrior, you can flank with Army of the Dead and not be worried about losing a little bit of extra damage as long as it's not a huge isolation. So it does leave it up to Anub'arak from the left to right, but if Arthas can flank, that's another opportunity that I'd like to see here. But other than that, yes, it's going to be all about the Impale setup. That's, for the most part, pretty easy. It's a rather thin skill shot.
Well, there was a very interesting dynamic when I was playing Tyrande the other day. Queued up in a Hero League game, and the other team didn't have much CC, and they pick a Varian. And I'm like, all right, is this going to be taunt Varian? So I held my level 1 talent. I'm like, the level 1 talent for Tyrande takes care of silences. A taunt is a silence. So you have the capability of cleansing that away with your Q stack. It's not always going to be, you're not always going to be in a guaranteed range just because a Genji and Anub'arak could potentially outdive you. But that is something that is in favor of a Tyrande, given that you have 2 stacks on that Q ability.
That's a good point that you bring up here. Now that we got this first Immortal 2, double Mercenary stack from HeroesHearth Esports should demand some kind of answers here from Team Freedom in rotation. Blaze dealing with that for now. Is Thrall threatening the camp for Team Freedom over bottom. Arthas looking for the collapse, looking to trying to find the Howling Blast. I'm not sure if he did. Doesn't look like that's the case. Able to make it out. Well, HeroesHearth trade up on top pretty dang well.
Yeah, you mentioned the trade out with that, getting the double camp spawn in that top, so we'll get some early damage in, but experience still fairly even. Arthas doesn't have the best wave clear. He's been dealing with that camp at the bottom. Now some of that is dealt with. He'll make his rotation up, see if we get an engagement by HeroesHearth as they start to rally the crew around this. They're turning their attention to Blaze.
Oh, that's a jet propulsion interrupt. Now all they have to do is body block it, and quickly they all do that. Man, every member of HeroesHearth Esports just diving very, very synergistically there.
You know what that reminds me of? There's a very important thing that and look, I might be a little off, but when you and I were, that's a very nice flip over into that stun. Hami has to disengage away. We'll get into this point in a second as the skirmish breaks out. Zugrug walking forward, looking for more of an opportunity. Holy Shock by Collusion, trying to trade out some more damage. Nice scatter arrow hitting onto Crowan. But barring no fight here, the point I was making is that Korea on Dragonshire, they use the Junkrat in the bottom lane, and they soft prep that top lane. They get the wall down, maybe a tower. They'll come up there, put the fear in you. So then the solo laner plays back, which is where Zugrug, he'll find himself back in the base. But they prep that lane, get the wall down, maybe a tower. But the wall is the key part, but getting some structure, they just jump over the wall and go that. It's a soft approach early, and then the minute you step 2 feet out of bounds, you're collapsed on. And they do that with an Anubrak a lot in Korea.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to see that come to life here. And it is maybe not over the forts, but it's still at least temporarily here as HeroesHearth find another kill there on to Hanzo. Now going to back out, send the Gray Main for the 1-4 split. And it looks like the race is going to be won here by HeroesHearth Esports. For this kind of composition, to have this success early on, it's going to be very nice for them with this Immortal. I actually would like to have seen a little bit earlier backing coming out from Mac, because remember when you were asking me left or right initiation? Over this fort for free, there is a nice angle to flank for Arthas specifically, but based on that backing that he just made, he's going to be too late for the damage output and positioning himself here. So it's going to leave it up to Ishbu now to be the creative one with the initiation. I'd like to see that McIntyre flank ideally in this type of circumstance.
Here comes the push. No threat of 10 or a Syndragosa. Only the Hanzo available for the clear. This is definitely a fort falling with that Greymane siege, and that will escalate the pace towards level 10. If they get an early tower down here, Dread, the threat towards 10 is much greater. This is 800 XP in the cumulative value to get from 9 to 10. You watch that jump, and then another one. And it'll jump up to about 9 1/3 here at the tail end of this. And with minions there, this is a very real threat.
Not going to stick around, though. HeroesHearth have other plans. In this downtime, whenever I see that in this type of situation, because you are right, the lead is big enough, and compositionally speaking, they are big enough. Number one, that puts them in a position to where normally you would see them off-rotate to the opposite side of the battleground here. But now that we see them back out, look towards this camp, I would wonder, are they going to all-in push with the bottom half here? No matter what, HeroesHearth, with the advantage that they had, I would like to see them find a way to get a little bit more pressure out. They don't have necessarily the best siege, purely on the, Genji isn't the best backliner there, but to do nothing with this does feel like it's not enough.
And the timing is the important part. They're going to find Nasmus body blocked again. Cleanse is going to be there. Hami comes in, doesn't confirm the kills. Collusion brings the hammer, but somebody else is going to follow up. Collusion's going to fall. 10 picked up. The camp was there. And you mentioned that it was very important for them to make something happen, because the timing window, you see that experience for Team Freedom. They had a chance to potentially get there, but HeroesHearth, they capitalized on it.
Yeah, they very much did, and now the world is theirs. That is a double fort or to keep front wall down on bottom. Based on that, even more so, one thing to keep in mind, this is something that I've been wanting to talk about a little bit as time goes on, but Battlefield is such a unique battleground with so much action and happening, it's hard to talk about, but prepping your damage on Siege to force your next Immortal to be in the most optimal situation for you. So what I'm saying is, because they have the damage more so on the bottom half of the battleground now, we know this Immortal is going to go top outside of the success of this Shaman camp. So you can put it in a position to where you can better prep that damage output with the Shamans and better set those up for high risk, or excuse me, high reward, low risk kind of situations.
They will have to deal with a post-level 7 Hanzo this time around. They were able to get early kills last time. Indomitable use there. Did not hear the cleanse, so I believe that was the Indomitable use. Gyarados should be able to protect himself in those situations.
Shaman can't pressure him out still for HeroesHearth Esports. Not the case when looking towards Freedom on bottom. Greymane setting that up. Thrall now making his way towards the lane as Ishbu anchoring to make sure he gets as much vision as possible. Now Arthas and Genji throwing their Mac back out, throw down Hunter's Mark. Kick off halftime show. See how much damage is done in the downtime though, as Hanzo trying to respond.
It's been so long, and the nerf to Hunter's Mark from -25 to -15, it's there. But pairing that with the Greymane,
It hurts.
it's been a while since I've seen that. It doesn't show up that often, but seeing it take place there. Hanzo who?
This is one of those situations though where I was talking about on the flank opportunities for McIntyre into these team fights. So it's going to be interesting to see if anybody decides to break that left or right approach for HeroesHearth Esports. For now though, Greymane doing due diligence in the off lane.
Team Freedom, it seems like, is going to have a hard time moving forward, and you just need some space to allow Hanzo. And I think that's why we see a lot of HeroesHearth members absorbing some of those shots. We'll get some poke damage in, but the longer this goes on, the inevitable 13 comes in for HeroesHearth. And every time Team Freedom steps forward, there's more and more threat as the cursed bullet rips through the health bar of Zugrug there.
Lutano throwing out the scatter arrows. Ishbu is going to be the focus there as the burrow charge actually has to get used for the retreat. Yoda not going to use the earthquake opportunity there. Maybe for a moment. It would have been only one target, so it makes sense to be able to hold that off for a second. And now Freedom used that window here to move up, get some free damage out. Lutano doing his best on the Hanzo. Lunar Flare landed on the 2, but nobody there for the follow-up. We continue here at the back end of this Immortal race.
We've seen people use a Greymane to take one of these camps. And it looks like Greymane might just go up and get the minion wave to escalate that race towards 13 through that experience. See if they make the rotation up beyond that, or whether it's just an XP soak, because you can now see Thrall in that bot lane on your mini-map. So that does give HeroesHearth a moment if they move in, because Greymane's already rotating down now.
Bunker laid out. Groundbreaker not connecting for Zugrug. Thrall making his way back in. Freedom has a small time frame. As you said, 13 picking up for HeroesHearth Esports. They'll keep sending somebody to the off lane. Now it's Genji, the safest of the members of HeroesHearth in that off lane.
The Shaman camp will be picked up here by Team Freedom. And Shrew continuing to poke with that Impale. McIntyre goes in, hits the Death Coil. It's their version of tank poke. Ami gets in on the action with the Gilnean cocktail, and 13 is now here for HeroesHearth.
What can they make happen with it? Likely going to finish the rest of this Immortal now as they get Genji back in their ranks. They're going to look up to secure the rest of this. What can we see Team Freedom do with that? Crowan wants to find a reset somewhere. Blaze throws down the oil, throws down the Flame Spitter. Bottom Shaman is there. HeroesHearth might use this downtime to make sure they get the clear onto that and then force onto the Immortal. But now seeing Genji for half a second. Lutano.
Yeah, but the Hanzo race here, if they give up too many shots, there's the stun. See if they try and follow up on that. Blaze, he's in the cocoon. We see Ishbu and team go in. Ishbu gets blown up. Homicidal trying to trade up, but there's the Dragon Arrow in return. Homicidal forced to retreat. D-Shield used onto the Garrosh. Lutano trying to scramble for his life. And Freedom living for now. It's Corona team, but the snipe with the owl there will confirm the kill. We'll get a second.
Get a B set behind it too here, J-How. Now HeroesHearth Esports move up to secure that Immortal. And J-How bringing it back to that skirmish for a moment. What you were asking earlier, the left to right initiation. If you notice in that last skirmish, though Nubarak did approach the left to right, and Freedom did a really good job of just all-inning and punishing him, even with that in the bunker afterwards, having a flank from that Arthas with the Army of the Dead really enabled the follow-up damage to secure that kill for HeroesHearth Esports. It's a small adjustment there, but it's one of those, you know, who's going to get the initiations? There are ways to be able to react to that and to be able to have that moment where we see that live here from McIntyre. I feel like it was a really good adjustment there. Again, not perfect synergy based on the positioning of Ishbu, but I put that more on Freedom punishing rather than misplay on HeroesHearth.
There was the early damage done to that fort after the last Immortal, to where we saw the rotation up from HeroesHearth. They got the double kill, and they opened up this top lane. And you mentioned the potential damage that could come out by prepping Shaman camps. Team Freedom responded to that well, but we are still looking at an Immortal that will move directly to the keep wall. With it, and normally it's like, okay, it's defensible, but you are relying on the Hanzo as your primary range to soften up that shield and move that Immortal into the melee range as we get back into the game.
Yeah.
But Heroes Hearth's comp is built around
Not caring,
and potentially just blowing up one person at a time. And you get one kill to start this early engagement, it can escalate quickly. So Team Freedom has to be careful.
Yeah, Nazmus just got the bunker, so that at least is one tool to be able to deal with that. They should have cleanse available now, but outside of that, Divine Shield's still not available for 20 seconds.
They've done a good job. The Immortal will move forward. The stun comes in. The second keep wall has fallen. And so Team Freedom did a very good job, but the Dragon Arrow trying to follow up. The Dragon Arrow, the root, everything is missing, but Team Freedom looking to take this fight. The taunt is used. Yoda, however, ate that cursed bullet. Zugrug, he'll be the first to fall as he moved forward. Nazmus trying to make his way out, not going to use that bunker, saving that cooldown for another day. But Heroes Hearth has a momentary numbers advantage.
20-second man advantage. No time wasted. Looking here to focus onto the keep. Howling Blast does end up connecting, and even if they don't get this immediately after, Ishbu should be able to with that cocoon, or excuse me, not the cocoon, but the Vito's. McIntyre with the Army of the Dead. He gets slowed down by the Earthquake as the bunker damage was enough for a moment. Cursed Bullet goes out. Yoda forced to eat the Divine Shield, trying to heal himself up. He will do so, kiting away, but McIntyre doing the same. Ishbu accepts his fate as the noble sacrifice of Heroes Hearth Esports, but will the rest retreat and make it out?
Oh, that scatter arrow, the minute I saw him release that, BBJ is now putting himself into position to try and protect. Nice root back. Trying to get the full bounce potential. The Team Freedom getting a kill on the tail end will now have to be aggressive the rest of the way. Cannot afford to give up too much. Zugrug wearing the fort shots, allowing the rest of his team to get onto this fort, get some experience, which will keep their chase towards 16 in place. But with the Immortal spawning in 20 seconds, Strad, Heroes Hearth with catapults and experience still are in control.
They are very much in control, but that window is small enough for Freedom to maybe make a big power play. And by the fact that they got that top keep, and the Impalers are pressuring through top, that Shaman camp is just going to better enable set up those catapults. It'll be interesting to see if that actually, because of that Impaler camp, if that sets up a super wave of sorts, because there's already 2 catapults building on the far right-hand side, and the more that build on Heroes Hearth side, the bigger it'll get on Freedom's as we see the combo come out. Natural agility out, but look at Crowan. Dragon's Arrow is going to be 8 there, actually, just to keep him alive. Zugrug on the front side, already going down. Lutana comes out of the bunker. X-Strike down, and Crowan actually doesn't hit it there. Good juke from Lutano keeps him alive.
Still, Zugrug is down. Nazmus will be the second to fall as he gets popped. 2 members down, and Heroes Hearth will turn their attention directly over to this Immortal. We'll kick off the halftime show, allow Lutano some time to get the clear onto this. You mentioned that mounting up. No pierce on the scatter arrow yet for Hanzo, no 16. And now Heroes Hearth, this is very good spawn for them to just come through here. This shield is super healthy. Untouched will be this shield that will be pushing for Heroes Hearth in the bot lane.
Interesting moment for Heroes Hearth Esports. Back in the day when you would find yourself in this kind of ideal of a circumstance, sometimes you would ask, is it better to go top and just push with your catapults? A 16-minute Immortal with 100% shielding might be low enough purely because the Hanzo that you go, yeah, we don't want to do that. And because Hanzo's such a good racer, but it used to be that it would just be so healthy on its own, threatening half core, half not would be the bigger trade here. Heroes Hearth, it seems like they're considering the Hanzo factor too. Gonna go down to the bottom lane, join with the Immortal. That being said, very likely to be Heroes Hearth game no matter what the circumstance.
And you know they have that in their mind. You do not hurt there unless you are preparing to try and end this game and just amplify this push to the maximum potential. They'll clear the minions out and push their way forward as Nazmus and team trying to do some early damage onto this. No keep wall standing in front. There's going to be the Indomitable use. Earthquake in return trying to buy space and time as they look to take the game-winning fight. Look, huge Dragon Arrow.
At that Dragon Arrow damage to the bunker, everybody getting inside of it. McIntyre now on the outside with that Frozen Tempest. Crowan moves in looking for the reset. Lunar Flare ends up dropping, and so is going to be Zugrug here for Team Freedom. Divine Shield already popped. Collusion kiting away. If he goes down, giving the reset as the X-Strike drives. Lutano going down as Crowan finds another reset, drops the Switch Strike back. 4-0 here. 4-for-1 as the flamethrower comes out there. Nasmus has the final kill, final say here, but HeroesHearth Esports have the series, J-How.
Yeah, they didn't just get the flames down. The real flames were that of HeroesHearth as they went through, put your flames down. This is a team that through the earlier game clinched their spot to BlizzCon, but they established their dominance still here at the top of North America. Only one series left for this team that is now sitting at 12-1 overall, a team that has come in. The miracle run that we've seen through the last year plus continues to tell that story. And you think about the ladder that they have climbed from Open Division, some castaways from some old rosters, bringing in 2 new faces. They get there, they get to the first Western Clash, they make it to mid-season brawl, have some success, a minor setback at the Western Clash number 2, but now have punched their ticket to BlizzCon. Crowan, he tweeted out during their break, he's excited, right? There's a lot of excitement for this team. McIntyre, he mentioned in his interview previously, I haven't been able to go 3 years running. I'm trying. Nailed it. It's such a heartwarming moment to see people that have put in the time, the dedication to get what's theirs, and they've earned it here, and another victory on their belt. It's a great story for HeroesHearth.
Yeah, I think I said it a little bit earlier, and you know, a lot of this is not only because of the amount of time and effort committed by HeroesHearth and members of HeroesHearth, but also for me just looking at McIntyre's travels through all of competitive Heroes of the Storm, the highs, the lows, the Malfurions of Spring Global Championship, which I know he confidently remembers those moments. But there were highs and there were definite lows, and you know, starting as early as the Barrel Boys, he's been doing his best to try and find himself in this type of position to represent North America. And now I think it's only fitting in the fact that it isn't just as a representative from North America. It is the auto-qualifying seed, #1 here with that kind of, again, jumbling of those castaways, as you put it.
The other cool thing for next weekend, Team Freedom unfortunately fall here, but it sets up one heck of a matchup next weekend for them. They'll take on Octalysis, and they'll be battling for that 3-4 spot, so that's one you won't want to miss. And that's going to be exciting next weekend. Tempo Storm can breathe a sigh of relief to try and get into that #2 seed. We'll see them tomorrow. But the story is HeroesHearth confirming their spot to BlizzCon Dreadnought. A lot of people have been talking about it. It's almost one of those things to where it's almost taboo. You don't talk about it till it happens, but we know it feels imminent. And now that sigh of relief for the members from HeroesHearth, it's got to feel good. I feel it as a caster. I try to be as impartial as possible, except for when you pick Butcher and Sylvanas, but your heart goes out to people that have put in there. It's been a fun ride for them. They have a lot of work to do before they get to BlizzCon. They've got to decide on a final member. They've got a full month and a half to get to where they want to be, just over a month before opening week. So it's going to be a fun ride. Our meta, we don't know what's going to happen. I still got to check. I don't know if we get Mephisto next week, but it's going to be fun. We got new Mephisto coming in. Meta could shift all the way. We saw a lot of double support today.
It could. I think that's something that might be sticking around a little bit longer than maybe some fans at home. Some people adore the double support. We'll find out, though, as things unfold. But there is, with HeroesHearth Esports, I think we always talk about the veterans of this roster, right? But I can't help but feel like there's one player that I personally, as time has gone on, only more and more impressed with some of the capabilities and mentality and thought process, and it's Ishbu. BBJ is stepping up for this roster, and he performs within the support role. But Ishbu, to give you an example, he is leading of those castaways. They're big names in castaway rosters, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like these are the, oh, hey, you know, I'm maybe a small problem here, been around, jumping around. They were talking big names within the North American scene, and he walked in leading within this type of squad. And not only see that level of success, be able to rally those kind of, I feel like, egos that must exist based on the credibility and success that they have within the past, get them to work together as a unit here, and more importantly, then as that new member and kind of young person make a name for yourself, you come out and not just perform it for your team, you dominate North America with it. And that, to me, in that short of a time frame, shows a lot about him as a young man, though maybe doesn't, you know, brag about it too much.
We get one person where #Crowan was the solution. Crowan, you are going to BlizzCon, my friend.
Woo! Thank you very, very much. Oh man, it feels amazing. I just missing out on it for the past couple of years, and being able to finally attend BlizzCon as a player, not just as a spectator this time, it means the world. So thank you very much.
We were talking about it here, McIntyre as well. Just take me through that moment. You only had to win one game. You had 2 weeks to do it. You got out of the way in game #2. But take me through that moment, the way your team reacted, the way you responded. Just tell us what that was like.
I mean, as soon as we knew that we were gonna win, McIntyre, maybe with some expletives in there, but BlizzCon, let's go. We're all just super excited. I kind of just took a step back and really just tried to take it all in. It's a moment that, I've been looking forward to for my whole career. BBJ and Ishbu, very, very excited. BBJ tweeted a little bit that, like, yeah, we were sitting at BlizzCon watching a year ago, like half joking that, like, hey, maybe we'll be playing up there next year. And that's coming to fruition. Like, we're actually doing that, and that's just so crazy. It's
It's,
insane.
it's awesome to hear. And after that game number 2, you guys, the gloves came off and the twin blades came out. Did you guys have a little fun with this series afterwards? I mean, look, you don't have a lot to play for. You still got the pride and the record, but did you have some fun today?
I mean, definitely. I think we play our best when we're having fun, and if it means we can pick Twin Blades variant and have fun and win, then that's all the better. Like,
It was awesome to see, and congrats again. I'm sure I'll hear back from you in a moment, but for now, I'm going to send you to Dread.
I don't even have any
Thank
cool
you.
questions. I don't know why you're sending them over this way. I mean, a lot of my questions, it's more statements, I guess, Crowan. I just want to say a huge congratulations to you and all the members of HeroesHearth Esports for the performance you guys had. And also thank you for the, interesting and cool games coming out here through today. Because, to be honest, you guys just did what you do best. And the fact that you were able to get that hard work and effort and see it pay off here has been very impressive from the commentary perspective. So thank you very much for your efforts and also your games.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's all I got. Congratulations, Kron.
Appreciated.
Kron, I very easily could ask you the hard questions, but I think that's off the table for today. You guys have earned yourself a spot at BlizzCon. It's time for you to relax. You've got, a lot to work on over the coming month plus, and I wish you all the best of luck. We'll be seeing you in a week. And so I got nothing else for you. It's yours for shout-outs, my friend. Enjoy your moment.
Oh, thank you very much. It's just so surreal. Thank you, everyone who has supported me and my teammates in Heroes Hearth and Heroes Hearth. I've been working for this for as long as I've, touched Heroes of the Storm. So being able to finally realize that this moment is coming true, it's literally the dream. I'd rather be doing nothing else. So thank you very much. Thank you to Hami for subbing in. Thank you to all of our support staff. Renal, our coach, Renal, our manager, Koth, and our coach, Ramadi. Thank you for you guys for casting. Twitch chat. I love you all. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for the bits, for everything. It's been a wild year, and yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Also, heroeshearth.com. Check it out.
Congrats, Kron. Appreciate your evening, and enjoy yourself, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Whew. There was something said there by Kron that I hope not only Crowan, but any team in North America moving forward has a little bit of time, especially going towards BlizzCon, to maybe take a minute and take a step back. Because I'm not a guy who gets that emotion more often than not, but one thing I will say is out of my entire time of playing, I did not do enough of that. So to hear that from Crowan, to take that step back, try and appreciate what you've been able to achieve, what your time and effort has actually made, is a huge thing. And so taking, just for any player of any competitive esport, especially competitive Heroes of the Storm, I think a lot of people need to do that a little bit more often.
It's amazing. Congrats to those guys. We are not done yet with North American action. We're done for tonight, but we got an action-packed day tomorrow.